Hello again, everybody, and here we are again. I'm Alan. To my left, your right this week is John, and I'm not playing tricks on you. I am in a different room of my house, but the circumstances change things. But we're gonna do a Halloween ends update with all of the more recent developments on the movie. Surprisingly, we're not seeing a lot of leaked photos and spoilers like we did with the previous two movies. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm actually happy about it, to be honest with you, because I don't. With this being the per se last one, I really don't want it ruined for me. I mean, I know it's coming, but let's be honest, it's coming.
It makes me wonder if a lot of the filming was done indoors.
Maybe.
Because if you remember, a lot of the pictures and stuff that we saw from the last one were all outdoor shots.
Yeah.
Michael walking up and down the street, people trick-or-treating and what have you. We didn't get a lot of the indoor stuff, and, so I don't know. It's just interesting to me, but there are some news. There have been some pictures that have been put out there from the production. Yeah. And I'm with you. I don't want spoilers. I hope that the trailer. The sad part is they'll spoil it in the trailers. Which is what they did with the previous film. So,
right. I would be perfectly okay if they gave us a small teaser trailer that was like 30 to 45 seconds, and that's all we got until the fucking movie came out. Seriously.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with that.
It got to the point where before I was apprehensive to watch all the trailers because the first one gave so much away. That being said, it's going to have to be a decision we'll have to make on this channel because obviously we bring content and this is a big deal. Like a lot of the other channels will put out Halloween videos and Halloween news videos almost daily. We haven't been doing that, but I can see why they do it. I mean, they get so many clicks and so many views. Our highest viewed total, I mean, I can tell you right now, by a long shot, are the Halloween ends videos that we've done. We've done two of them. Our first video, excuse me, not so much with our first one. We only did 40 views, but that was our first video we ever did. We've had 823 views on the second Halloween ends news video that we did, so people are hungry for information for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm happy for it. At the same time, I'm sad because you're hearing that even John Carpenter himself is saying that the goal is to end the series.
Yeah.
That's sad, man. As a fan of Halloween and a fan of Michael Myers, that's very sad to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is, and I think that this film will effectively do that. That being said, I think that's more rhetorical than anything else. I don't think it's going to be the last Halloween movie we ever see. I don't think it's going to. I do think it'll be the last thing we see for a long time. You could see another, another decade really of not seeing another movie made potentially.
So then that puts Michael at what, like 70? At that point, 70-some years old.
Right.
It's like everybody's going to hate it because they hate it already. But
honestly, what they should do is they should take another stab at a remake. That's what I would like to see.
I mean, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. That's for sure. You said a lot of the pictures that we're seeing are from the cast too, which is cool. We saw a very beat up and bruised Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Who actually finished filming, like, I think 2 weeks ahead of everybody else.
That's interesting, too.
Right. That poses a lot of questions. Does she make it through the whole movie? Does she make it through the movie at all?
Are they going to pull are they going to pull a resurrection and wipe her out right at the beginning? I would guess no. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
But it is definitely questionable. The weird part is she did a lot of filming before James Jude Courtney showed up on set as well. They filmed a lot of her stuff.
Yeah.
And we know how they do these things. They film things out of order. But it seems like her interaction with Michael is going to be limited to maybe just one encounter.
Short and sweet is what it seems like. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny. A lot of people say, "Oh my God, well, they're done filming already. They've been filming for a little over 2 months." And if you've never been in a movie before and been around the production and stuff, that's a long time for movies, man, because you film for upwards of 12 to 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
Now, granted, in that 12 to 14 hours a day, you may only get like 3 or 4 scenes in. But if you're doing that daily for 2 months straight, you're going to bust through that shit quick.
That's 60 days.
That's how it works.
That 60 days, you figure a movie is only, at most, 130 minutes,
Right.
And for a Halloween movie, you're probably looking more like 90 minutes.
Right. And they're probably sitting on at least 5 to 6 hours worth of film right now that they have to cut down to maybe 2 hours. Maybe.
Yeah. And most likely less. I mean, your typical slasher movie is going to be like, less, closer to the hour and a half range is kind of the sweet spot that they go for. Sometimes even less. We talk about Chainsaw Massacre. The new one was like an hour and 20-some minutes, which I thought it was a bit short, but it's they try to keep these movies compact and short, and I don't think you're going to see much different with Halloween. You're not going to see a 3-hour long marathon like you'd see with a Marvel movie or something like that. So 2 months, that's a lot of content to be filming, and it just makes you wonder if they're still circling around to different ideas.
Right. I feel like I would be okay with a 2-hour version of this, and I wouldn't complain about that because we came close with kills, so I'd be okay with a whole 2 hours.
Right.
To be
the last one of the trilogy is reasonable too.
Right, absolutely. Now, some of the other stuff we've been seeing was a picture of the whole cast after they wrapped on a street with a beautiful sunset, but in the background there was a billboard for the Rabbit and Red Lounge that is famous for Halloween '78 on the matchbook.
Yes.
So that was kind of cool to see. Wonder how they're going to incorporate that, if they're going to incorporate that, or it's just a billboard that has a cool little Easter egg on it. Because the only other person that really made that come to life was Rob Zombie, which was an actual place in the movie.
Right.
So.
Well, it does seem like there's going to be a scene inside a bar at some point, and it's going to be a different bar than what we saw in Kills, which was more like an Irish pub type place. It seems like they do have a scene just from some of the other pictures that we covered in our previous video. So that could be the Rabbit and Red Lounge. I really do like that they are really incorporating all this stuff in there. It is really cool to see that, without a doubt.
Oh, absolutely. What's cool is we definitely know that Laurie won't be stripping there on a side note. At least we hope not. Let's hope not. I don't know. Who knows?
Let's not do that again. Someday we're going to have to do a deep dive into those.
Oh, yeah. Now, did you see the news that they said they had posted, I think, a couple weeks ago, that there was a story going around that he might be staying at a Haddonfield junkyard, which was kind of an interesting scenario.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know if that would make any sense, but who knows,
it'll be so many questions. Okay, because you're what, 3 years? Was it 3-year time jump from the last movie?
It'll be 4.
4 year.
It'll be 4 now. Yeah.
That's right. 4-year time jump. It's like, because you wonder, where was he for 4 years?
Right.
Because you assume that he killed Karen and then disappeared at that point.
Right. You know what's funny, though, is they keep talking about this, I don't know, like an ode to, Christine, this movie, for some reason. So if he is in a junkyard, God damn it, we want to see a Christine car sitting in the background somewhere. That's all I'm going to say.
They have to. I mean,
that would be great,
and it's definitely something they would do. I mean, that's really within the wheelhouse of what these guys are all about. The junkyard thing actually is very plausible to me. Of all the rumors that I've heard, especially more recently, because there are some wild ones out there, and we've covered a little bit of it here. The junkyard is one of the more feasible ones. And I want to get into some of these. If you want, we can now. So we already talked about all the Silver Shamrock stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
which you know, on the surface you could say that all sounds absurd, but I mean, really, it's not as absurd as some of the other stuff we've heard.
No, it's really not.
One of the more recent ones floating around, and I don't know where it came from, is that Michael is going to discover his humanity and climb to the top of the radio tower and commit suicide by jumping off. I'm going to go ahead and file that one into the probably not going to happen category.
Yeah, no. Listen, if there's one person out of the slasher genre that would do something like that, it sure as fuck isn't Michael Myers. Okay,
Right.
he just doesn't give a shit. Okay.
No.
Now, but since we're talking about the tower, it's the infamous tower, we do know that we have Willie the Kid, who is our DJ that runs out of that building. So the rumor that I heard, and I talked to you about it too, was that apparently he's going to kill this guy in the radio station, but it's going to be live on air, and that's how people are going to find out that he's back at Haddonfield.
And that's another one that I think I would feel confident in saying that that's definitely going to be in the movie. I think
that's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's very likely that is a real leak, a real spoiler.
Yeah.
Because it is, first of all, a great scene. Like if that's done correctly, that's a absolutely fantastic and frankly terrifying scene. And if that's the way that Michael announces to Haddonfield that I'm home, I'm back.
Right.
That's absolutely. I can't think of a better way to do it, to be honest with you.
No, that would be cool.
What really what really draws me to this movie is are really two things. Is that we're going to explore Michael's motivation and his what's behind his supernatural strength, what's driving his ability to take the kind of punishment. Now, they've established in this series that yes, Michael is flesh and blood. Even after Halloween Kills, David Gordon Green says that he still views Michael as a human being. But clearly there's more than that as well. So I feel like, that to me is what this is where this is really heading, and I think that's going to be what this is about. And you have we've talked about it before. You have one of the working titles is Cave Dweller, and we've speculated on that. But the real interesting one for me is Brainwaves, in terms of the motivation part of where it's going to come from, and we don't really have a lot of feasible information in terms of where they're going with that. Just that it definitely seems like that's where they're headed.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool too. I saw a billboard with the missing persons, and I wrote her name down. It's Megan Baxter, and it said last seen on October 30th, 2021, and to call the Warren County Sheriff Department if he had any leads. So maybe in his time of, hiding away, he still killed a few people along the way.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting to see, just because, and it was there for a reason. Let's be honest,
Yeah, it's if you're betting and you're gonna bet that that's one of his victims for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. I mean, for me, I've seen a lot of really cool fan made posters so far.
Yeah.
That have some of them I would say would be great for the actual poster for the movie.
Agreed.
Who knows what they're going to go with? Yeah. And we're not going to know probably until July. I would say late July, maybe.
Sounds about right.
What they're going to actually go with.
We probably won't even. I think they said somebody had said that we got a poster for Kills in April. Is that true? Okay. I don't recall that, but that seems a bit early.
You know what? Yeah. I mean, hell, I read not too long ago that they said they'll have a cut of the movie in about 3 months.
Yeah, so, and that's the thing. We don't have a lot to go on now, but they are going to probably do test screenings. They always do with these movies, and we're going to get we're going to get some, for better or worse. We're going to get a lot from that. People are gonna, even though they sign non-disclosure agreements and people aren't supposed to say anything.
Yeah.
You know that people, unfortunately, they will break those agreements.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get stuff, and I don't know how much of that we're gonna report on because I don't want to be a source of ruining this movie for anybody else. But we are gonna get some stuff, you know. So, you know, that's definitely coming. But yeah, it's really hard to say. I mean, I kind of agree with you. I don't think we're really going to start seeing anything official from the production until July. Or sometime in the summer at the earliest. That being said, the caveat being if somebody ruins something, like for example the trailer being leaked last year, which was just some bullshit, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, just I hate when people do that.
Yeah, I mean, sadly enough, that's what you have to look out for the next several months is somebody leaking something or ruining something.
Yeah.
Didn't you have somebody message you something?
Yeah, I was pulling them up. I have a couple of things here. So, I you know, again, take all this with a grain of salt, because I don't know, for sure, you know, how, you know, where some of these folks are getting these tidbits. That being said, I mean, you know, certainly a lot of it seems plausible. YouTube viewer Barrett 2 weeks ago commented on our video. Excuse me. Yes, they are filming Halloween Ends in Savannah, Georgia, and Midway, Georgia, where I live. So this is a person that lives in the vicinity of filming. So, you know, good source in terms of that.
Right.
This movie is going to shock you more than you know. 100% Shamrock will play a little part in the movie. It's not going to be as big as everyone thinks. You know, that would actually fall in line with what we've seen in the previous two movies. Silver Shamrock has evolved somehow. Maybe they accelerate the involvement, but maybe it's not the big driving force that we think it is. Very plausible. Jamie Lee Curtis does die, and Allison will pick up the fight. You know, we kind of said the same thing. I mean, these are all things that can be kind of predicted. But this potentially adds more credence to that theory.
Right.
And of course, somebody, a user, actually, I didn't see this until today. 4 days ago, user Lois Millette responded to this comment. Mask cursed by Silver Shamrock and Halloween Ends by Celtic Ritual. Evil curse spiked. Can you explain to me, please? I can't explain to you. Maybe the user can, and we can get that.
I mean, it's simple as can be. They've
sorry,
been out of their way. Oh no, go ahead.
There's one more another one here is viewer Eric Peralta says, I have read that in Savannah, Georgia, there are caves that surrounded the city, and that they are actually still patching those areas in present. Maybe Radio Tower, there's a cave which Michael can move around without being noticed and attack on Halloween from time to time, not causing too much attention to himself, and maybe Laurie finds out about a particular death and she recognizes Michael's artwork or way of killing, and this hunt begins. Very possible. That's not unreasonable at all.
Right.
And then he has a theory. He says, my theory is I believe that in the Radio Tower they are going to find Silver Shamrock masks with chips and some files that let us know that Silver Shamrock did exist in this timeline. Maybe a flashback scene where maybe Michael saw someone getting killed in the Radio Tower, and that completely changed him to what he became. I think that is what's going to happen, but the showdown happens somewhere else. By the way, a lot of rumors that Smith's Grove Sanitarium is going to play a big role in the movie as well. Not sure where that's.
I'm glad you said that because I've heard a couple things about that too, and along the lines of where the showdown will take place or what people think will happen.
Yeah. I mean,
the sanitarium. I heard a story about Michael killing someone in the sanitarium, but another kid sees this and kind of takes on the Michael persona. I don't want that to happen.
No.
Like, let's let that go. As far as the showdown between Laurie and Michael, or Allison and Michael, they said they'd like to see it happen at obviously the Myers house, and or the Wallace house where most of his, the Doyle house where most of his terror kind of reigned in the original movie.
And I'm kind of on that bandwagon. I'm not totally against the idea of them doing something or having the showdown at like the sanitarium. But Smith's Grove isn't really a recognizable place to the viewership because I mean it's been shot in different locations. Like we know what the Myers house looks like. We know what the Doyle house looks like. I mean Smith's Grove is more of an idea than it is an actual location for most of us. We know it's where Michael was kept. At this point, we know it has a giant courtyard with red and white checkered squares. I don't see it being all that exciting. I don't have a problem if they do it. And we've kind of done it already. Halloween 6 takes place in a similar type setting at one point. So the hospital type, madhouse type setting, I don't see it as being that original, really, or that interesting to me. That's my personal view on it.
Right, and Rob Zombie gave you probably the best view of that sanitarium when he did, his remake.
Right,
you got to actually go inside and see Michael inside the sanitarium,
right,
and shit like that go down,
right,
and stuff, and you saw the outside of it, the inside of it,
right. And we've already done Haddonfield Memorial twice.
Yeah.
We've seen that. I would rather, like I said, I'm more interested in this particular movie going back to the roots. You had 2018, which kind of went back to the roots. I want to see this really go back to the roots of the original film. I want them to really slow it down. I want them to slow it down.
Yeah. I think they're going to.
It seems that way. I want to see Michael doing more stalking. I want to see more suspense build up. The one thing that both of these movies kind of lack, and 2018 they did it a little better than in Kills, was the suspense. The most suspenseful scene, and really the only truly suspenseful scene in Halloween Kills, for me at least, was when Lindsay was in the woods. Yeah. Hiding from Michael, who sounded a little bit too much like Jason Voorhees walking around.
Man, that was some loud ass walking boots, weren't they?
I know. I'm like Christ. I'm like, over the last 40 years, did the man put on 350 pounds? What now? You go from 1978. You can't hear him. He's like, you can't hear him at all. You don't know he's there now. How does he sneak up on it? Maybe that's why he doesn't stalk people, because he's so heavy footed. Right. It's like. Hopefully he's a little quieter now, because I mean that's what I looked at my wife. I'm like, are we at Camp Crystal Lake or?
Dude, you know what's funny about that scene though? I swear there's more to that scene that we didn't see.
Yeah,
I feel like there's something that got cut out of that.
Well, because they just find her.
They
find her, and there's no. It's like, okay, well, how did she get away? Like, he knows she's out there.
But she's like scratched up and shit. Like she'd been through hell, and it's like all she did was she got thrown and she hid. That was it.
Right? Yeah, her face never got. Yeah, I agree. I remember thinking the same thing. Like, and not only that, like she was hiding at one moment, and then the next minute they just find her. I'm like, I don't believe that he just gave up looking for him. Was like, oh well, and kept going. That's not his style. Maybe that really was Jason Voorhees dressed up as Michael Myers. Maybe because that's something Jason might do. It's not something Michael does. I don't know.
Right? No, not at all.
I just said I didn't buy it. I didn't believe them. But I am excited to see more of Lindsay, though. I think that of all the legacy characters they brought back, she was one of the better ones. Her and Lonnie really, for me, were the two best that they did.
I was really surprised how much they. I'm not saying his character got a ton, but to really like capitalize and go back and tell the story of Lonnie, how he saw Michael and have that face to face with him, was actually really cool because. Yeah. He was a throwaway character. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He really was. But they took that and they made more out of him, and it was cool. I agree with you.
And they made him. very heroic and very likable. They rehabbed that character.
Yeah. You almost started to like his son because of him, but his son was still a dick.
It was a dick.
At the same time.
Yes.
Yeah. But for Lindsay Wallace, I feel like hers was like very downplayed as far as like the time she got on screen. So I would like to see more of her and what she can do in this next one, you know?
And allegedly, I have heard that they rewrote a lot and they changed a lot of the last movie to include her and put her in a bigger role.
Okay.
I would like to see her make it through, honestly. I would like to see her make it through and, you know, kind of become maybe, you know, I don't know what the plan is after this. They talk about it being the end. But if they do continue on with this timeline, I wouldn't mind seeing a movie centered around her and Allison. You know.
Yeah, you have to feel like in these past 4 years, she's probably gotten closer to Laurie and Allison now.
Yeah.
So maybe, let's be honest, somebody from 78 has to survive this entire franchise, okay?
Yes.
Maybe it's going to be Lindsay Wallace, because obviously it can't be Laurie Strode. It can't be.
It can't be. No, it cannot be.
It can't be.
Unless they kill Michael off definitively, and that's it. But I don't think that's going to be the case.
Right. Maybe she becomes the mother figure to Allison after all this. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know.
Very possible. I do think it's likely that both Laurie and Michael do die.
Right.
But I could see Lindsay being the one that survives. It makes a lot of sense. You know, I also think Hawkins is going to play a huge role in this one as well. There's a reason why they kind of retconned his death, which I'm really happy they did. Even though it was difficult to suspend disbelief on that one. I do agree with that. I'm still glad they did it because he was too good of a character. And honestly, Will Patton is a fantastic actor. And I'm really happy to have him still involved in this.
Now, here's my question with him, though. Do you feel like, okay, so we saw him in 18. We saw him in Halloween Kills. Obviously, he spent most of his time in a bed. But he had some really good key points in that movie, right?
Yeah.
Do you think he has a smaller role now that he's back up and at it for ends, or do you think he has a little bit of a bigger role? What do you think?
I think he has a bigger role. I think that he's going to be. I think he's going to be the sheriff. We talked about that.
Oh, absolutely. That other Barker or Baker or whatever the fuck his name is, he's done.
Yeah, he's gone. I think that he's going to be more of a Brackett type character. More so even because Brackett was skeptical throughout the first film. I think that in a lot of ways Hawkins is going to be on the hunt once he realizes that Michael is back. He's going to be on the hunt. I heard somewhere that we're going to get another Dr. Loomis-esque character.
Yeah, the doctor that the couple mentioned at the bar. I forget his name. I don't have it with me right now, but he is actually going to be a doctor in this movie. So it is kind of cool how they drop those little like hints and then they make him a character in the next movie.
Right. So I think that I think that it's very likely you're going to get a scenario something similar to what we saw in 1978 with maybe Hawkins and the Doctor, or hell, even Laurie in some respect. Maybe Hawkins tells Laurie, "You stay home and let us handle this," and she goes out and gets herself killed. There are a million ways this could play out.
She's not going to stay home. Let's be honest.
No. Same with Allison.
She's going to fight.
Yeah, it's. Right. I could see a scenario where you kind of have Allison, Laurie, and Lindsay on their own stalking or searching for Michael, while you have Hawkins and this new Doctor character searching for Michael in a separate kind of back and forth type thing. That would actually be, a very good way to do it. So, and that's very possible. Just like that, we're 29 minutes in, if you could believe it.
Damn! Wow, we're coasting on through, man.
That's right. I know you probably have a few more things to get off your chest, so I want to let you turn your loose here.
Man, I don't know. You know what? Like I said, I mean, I'm sad to see it go. If this is the case, I'm super hyped to see it. I don't get on the whole train of 2018 sucked. Halloween Kills was terrible. I liked it, man.
I
I'm looking
enjoy the
forward to
movies.
seeing how they end this.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a big deal.
yeah, there was a whole lot to like about Halloween 2018. Um,
Yeah,
you know, for me, there are things I didn't like. I hated the Sartain thing.
yeah,
One of the things I hated was that they killed Hawkins, but they did try to fix that in Kills.
right.
Jumping forward to Kills, I mean, the flashback scenes were fantastic. The kills were fantastic.
Absolutely.
I admit that everything going on with the mob, the story at the hospital, I mean, you had maybe too much going on at once. I get,
Yeah.
and maybe the story was a little disjointed. I get that, and I agree, but I still enjoyed the movie. I think, 2018 a little bit more. Aside from the flashback scene, that so far has been absolutely the best stuff they've done.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I would like to see a little bit of flashback in the ends too. Not a
Oh,
lot,
I would
but
too.
a little bit,
I would too.
because I think they did them so well, man.
They did. They did.
So well.
Yeah. Maybe even more of like Loomis. Maybe even go earlier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Loomis in Smith's Grove talking to a younger Michael. Not. I don't want to dive deep like Zombie did, but if we're digging into the psyche of Michael Myers, and we're really going into that and trying to figure out why and what, that's a pretty good place to go. It would be interesting to see them do that.
We've only seen very, very small snippets of that from '78.
Right.
Very, very, and those were cut for TV. So
Exactly.
unless you saw the TV version, you didn't see a lot of that.
Right.
Right. So we don't see a lot of Michael Myers and Dr. Loomis interaction. You mentioned in Rob Zombies, we see a ton of it. So yeah, he gave us that.
Yeah.
But it's not. We didn't want to see it from his version. We want to see it from this version.
Exactly. And I don't want to see a ton of it. I want to see just enough of it.
Yep.
And it was the same thing with the '78 flashback.
Yeah.
I felt like they could have gone too far. That was real easy to fuck up. I mean, that was
Oh yeah.
the balls that it took to even attempt to do that.
Yeah.
I thought when I heard they were doing it, I got excited because I wanted them to do it in 2018. I wanted them to do it.
Well, yeah, because they wanted to change the ending of '78.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't have liked that. I wouldn't have liked that.
They wanted for it to be Loomis got killed.
Yeah.
And Laurie was the one that shot Michael or something like that along those lines.
Yeah.
And John Carpenter said no, don't do that.
No, you can't change that. I'm glad that they nixed that. What they did with Kills was about as close to perfect as you're gonna do. And but yeah, I mean, in terms of, I like these movies a lot. I do think they're the best sequels in the franchise. And I think it's by a long shot. And I love Halloween 2. Obviously, it's
Me too.
I really like Halloween 4. Halloween 6 I really like.
Same here.
H2O is okay. 5 is probably my least favorite.
It's something.
Yeah, Resurrection is a fun slasher movie with Michael Myers.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, these have been very solid. These have been very good. I am sad to see it end. I don't believe that this will be the end of Halloween or Michael Myers forever. I think that.
Right.
I do think that it could be a while before we get anything else. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm sad to see it. I'm sad even to see this trilogy end. But I'm also very excited to see what they do with it. So.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at too, man.
Yeah.
I'm pumped to see it. I'm pumped to see what other news comes out without spoiling something.
Yes.
I'm just pumped to talk about it, man. Every time we get a chance to kind of put more videos together about Halloween Ends, I'm 100% in. So.
Yep. And I suspect we'll be doing that again here real soon. We are going to continue to cover this. I think the thing that you guys will have to remember from us, we are very adverse to spoiling anything. We don't want to. We're not a channel that we want to spoil anything. We will give a spoiler-filled review when we do our movie reviews. We tend to go we tend to go 100% in and basically spoil it. So I would definitely say don't watch a full-on movie review on this channel or a series review until you've seen the series. But we're not gonna be the assholes to sit here and leak scripts and leak and spoil the movie, even if it's already out there. And there are a lot of good channels that don't do that. I'm not saying that we're exclusive in that regard. But I just want to say that we're not going to do that for Halloween. We're not going to do that for any movie that hasn't come out. But you still got to be careful out there. There is going to be some shit out there. Eventually, this is going to get ruined for somebody. Probably will for us. But we will not pass that along to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so that's my disclaimer there.
Yeah. And if we ever do, we always let you know there's a spoiler warning.
Always.
If we do
always
say something, or
yes, always.
We'll definitely let you know.
Yeah.
So no hate comments, please. No hate comments.
No. I mean, if you do want to throw a hate comment in, just make sure it follows the YouTube guidelines, or we simply won't see it because they apparently delete them.
Exactly.
If whoever is out there spamming us with hate stuff, I don't know what to tell you. You shoot us a private message or something because.
Yeah, we'll talk to you. It's okay.
Yeah. We still haven't gotten any comments on last week's video. We were giving away a copy of Doorways to the Unseen 3. We interviewed James Dermond, the author of that book. So if anybody wants to comment on that video, I mean, it's up for grabs. Still got time. So. All right. I have nothing else.
That's it for me, man.
A little bit of longer episode this week. You can find us on. I'll let you do it because you're better than I am.
All right. Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and what was the other one?
Apple Podcasts and Amazon
That's
Music
right.
or Amazon Podcasts.
That's right.
But most of all, like and subscribe because that really. Apparently, they tell me that really helps channels like ours out. So we definitely would appreciate it. Leave comments below. Definitely leave comments below. Like I said, I don't care. You could be as mean as you want, and we'll even respond to you, and maybe even read your comment on the air if it's not too insane. I don't want to be kicked off YouTube over it, but
right.
But This is an open door policy, so that's all I got, man.
That's it, man.
All right, dude.
We'll be back next time.
We will. See you guys later.
Fans, check out and follow the Horror Guys. You can find them on Facebook, facebook.com/The Horror Guys. On Twitter, Horror Guys 21, that's HORRORGUYS 21. On YouTube, The Horror Guys. And also on Spotify, search for The Horror Guys.
Beetlejuice.